This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. In a not too surprising development, China has filed a complaint with the World Trade Organization over Europe's new tariffs on imported Chinese EVs. In a statement, China's Ministry of Commerce said the tariffs, quote, severely violated WTO rules and undermined global cooperation on dealing with climate change. It also said they, quote, lack factual and legal foundation. Europe already has a 10% tariff on Chinese imports, but last month the EU slapped an additional tariff of up to 37.6% on Chinese-made EVs. It's trying to prevent a wave of low-cost Chinese EVs from flooding the market, claiming Chinese automakers benefit from government subsidies, allowing them to undercut European brands. And this isn't the only battle China is waging over tariffs. It also filed a complaint with the WTO over the U.S.'s new 100% tariffs on Chinese-made vehicles, which China calls discriminatory. And speaking of legal disputes, Liberty Media, which owns Formula One, confirmed it's under investigation by the U.S. Justice Department over its refusal to allow Andretti Global to enter F1. The investigation was sparked in May by 6 U.S. senators who asked the Justice Department to see if Liberty violated antitrust laws. Liberty says it will fully cooperate with the investigation. Andretti Global, which is led by racing icon Michael Andretti, formed a partnership with Cadillac to join F1, but Liberty Media rejected the bid, claiming they would not be a competitive team, that the Andretti name wouldn't bring any value to the series, and that it would not be able to get a team on the grid in the next 2 years. Toyota continues to make changes at the company after several high-profile cases of improperly certifying dozens of models. The quote-unquote irregularities, as it called them, in the certification process for safety and emissions on some models at Toyota and a few of its subsidiaries goes back over 20 years. It led authorities in Japan to call on Toyota to make, quote, drastic reforms. So it just issued a new 3-step report on how it plans to keep things like this from happening again, which includes company-wide changes. It also announced a new leader of vehicle safety system development because Toyota seems to put most of the blame on a lack of management being involved in the certification process. The company lost a lot of credibility as the true scope of the irregularities came to light, which resulted in production stops, several models being discontinued, some people lost their jobs, and I think it's part of the reason approval in Chairman Akio Toyoda has dropped sharply over the last few years. Chinese battery maker CATL continues to dominate the global EV battery market. According to SNE Research, CATL's battery shipments rose 30% in the first half of the year to 137.7 gigawatt hours. BYD was a distant second at 57.5 gigawatt hours, which was a 22% increase from a year ago. South Korea's LG Energy Solution was number 3 in the first half of the year, shipping 46.9 gigawatt hours of batteries, up about 6% compared to last year. All other battery makers in the top 10 shipped less than 20 gigawatt hours in the first half of the year, but the only company that posted a decrease was Panasonic, which was down 25%.
There's nothing wrong with heavy metal.
Hey, lighten up.
But with world-class composite material, Teijin Automotive Technologies makes vehicles lighter, safer, and more eco-friendly.
With Chinese automakers ramping up exports, could they start catering their vehicles to overseas customers? We think that might be why Great Wall Motor is going to introduce a diesel engine in one of the vehicles from its Tank brand. The Tank 400 has only been offered as a plug-in hybrid, but a listing with government regulators shows that it will come out with a 2.4-liter diesel that makes 137 kilowatts or 183 horsepower. While the diesel Tank 400 will be sold in China, Great Wall also exports to the Middle East, Africa, and Australia, where diesels are more popular. and the starting price should be lower than the roughly $40,000 for the plug-in Tank 400, which should make it even more attractive. And speaking of new Chinese models, BYD made some pretty significant updates to its Seal sedan. The 2025 model sits on an upgraded platform that features a more powerful control system, an 800-volt architecture, and is the first sedan from BYD to feature LiDAR, which is mounted on the roof to help enhance its driver assistance system. 2 battery sizes are available, a roughly 61 kilowatt-hour pack that provides 510 kilometers or 316 miles of range, or an 80 kilowatt-hour battery that provides 650 kilometers or 382 miles of range. A 228 horsepower or a 308 horsepower electric motor powers rear drive models, while the top-line all-wheel drive model makes 390 kilowatts or 523 horsepower and will do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.8 seconds. Pricing starts at about $24,500, which is about $8,000 cheaper than a Tesla Model 3 in China. Stellantis is deepening its partnership with Archer Aviation, a company that's developing eVTOLs, or electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. Earlier this year, the two companies announced that Stellantis will help build its Midnight VTOL at Archer's plant in Georgia. And now Stellantis is funding up to $370 million to cover labor costs to make 650 of those units a year. In exchange, Stellantis will receive shares in Archer. The new funds are in addition to the nearly $300 million that Stellantis has already invested, and Archer also announced that it secured an order from Future Flight Global to purchase up to 116 Midnight VTOLs for up to $580 million. And you could soon see Archer's VTOLs flying over Los Angeles. It announced plans to launch an air taxi network in the city and is aiming to start operations in 2026. It will have locations at the LA International Airport, the University of Southern California, in Orange County, and in Santa Monica. It's also in talks with the NFL's Los Angeles Rams to have a location at their stadium. Archer says the goal of its network is to replace car rides that normally take 1 to 2 hours with 10 to 20-minute flights. Research suggests that 1 in 3 cars are contaminated with bacteria, mold, particulate matter, pollen, and harmful gases. And that has led supplier Mann+Hummel to believe that people just aren't changing their cabin air filters enough. It's the last line of defense between you and the air you breathe if the windows are closed, and many modern cars feature cabin air filters. But like any filter, they clog up over time. I got to see this firsthand as a tech for over 13 years, and in general, people do seem less concerned about having it changed out. Unless it was like my aunt's car, whose filter was completely covered by dog food put there by a mouse or a rat. And aside from the health reasons, Mann+Hummel says a clogged filter could be a safety risk as well because the HVAC system might not be able to clear off the windows as effectively. I think that's sensationalizing the issue a little bit, but it is a good opportunity to remind you to check your cabin air filter. And with that, we wrap up today's show. Thanks for making Autoline a part of your day, and I hope that you have a great weekend.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering boost your game. MEDC, where Michigan businesses are powering the future of mobility. And by Teijin Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility.
Intrepid's NeoVi Pi, allowing automotive engineers to interface, capture, and monitor vehicle data using Raspberry Pi. As a matter of fact, it's the automotive industry's first robust platform for Raspberry Pi, featuring Intrepid CAN-FD technology and Raspberry Pi compute module. The NeoVi Pi is designed for automotive environments, allowing use with relative power ranges and applications. In addition, the NeoVi Pi enables you to use the Raspberry Pi for compute while avoiding additional development to adapt to network environments. That makes the NeoVi Pi powerful enough to solve your vehicle network problems, yet small enough to fit in your backpack. One of many Intrepid tools used for developing zonal architecture and software-defined vehicles.
Keeping your heart racing in and out of the gym. That's what really matters. Bridgestone Potenza Sport AS tires with a 50,000-mile limited warranty.
When we did our research for the talent that we need for this program, Michigan was really the top of the list. In order to be successful in this space, you really have to have the right people, the right mindset, the right environment.
Wards is the industry leader for news, data, and analysis. That's why companies across the globe subscribe to our premium service, maybe even your own. Log in for subscriber access now. Check your company's intranet for details and rely on wardsauto.com to keep you informed.